Health Life Design podcast. Today we're speaking with Cassandra Martin from Design Curtains. Welcome, Cassandra.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming to our podcast. But one of the reasons we wanted to hear from yourself is that Design Curtains, it's a decorating business, but it has a design background. And I want to open it by saying, or by asking, I should say, what is the difference between an interior decorator and an interior designer?
Well, an interior decorator is mostly grounded in styling and also making selections of surface finishes, textures, perhaps colours, and adding sort of soft furnishings, furniture, etc. An interior designer takes that a little further and has the ability to literally gut a home if that's what the client would like, and that could involve many trades, but it also requires structural knowledge as well of the property to make decisions that are safe and appropriate.
So it's a one-stop shop from a design perspective within the home. I must say you are an incredible backdrop there, or just say your logo is an incredible backdrop. You're wearing the black, the green, that goes with the green wall. You're just in sync here.
I try.
So it's clearly all planned. Well, a very strong logo, I must say, and branding is incredibly important today, even more than I think it ever has been. And you've been in business for quite some time, haven't you?
We have actually, and I think I'll get into trouble if I specify exactly how many decades we've been in the industry.
Well, you know what I say. I'm not an age, I'm a stage.
Oh, exactly.
That's what we do.
Lynn York is the owner and also the founder of Design Curtains, and I think she likes to stay at the age of 45. So
I love that.
I did specify the decades that wouldn't add up.
Well, I've got 1 year to go and I'm 45.
Okay, good.
We'll leave that alone, won't we? Okay.
I'm still 22.
Well, we're not here to talk about age. We're here to talk about the design service that Design Curtains does offer. So on that note, what are some of the services?
Well, we have a very broad and extensive range, in particular of soft furnishings. So it's one of our specialisations that has been, I think, consistent in the industry. We've been market leaders. We've also been quite focused on innovation in soft furnishings design as well over the decades. We do have our own workroom. So whilst we do all the multifaceted different elements in products, so that be curtains, could be blinds, as well as shutters. We do specifications on colours and different details to your standard run-of-the-mill purchasing. But beyond that, we also do soft furnishings in bedspreads and valances and other decorative details that might be a little bit more sort of, I suppose, in a cottage feel. But then beyond that, we do extend into very modern. Minimalist is, I think, retermed these days. There is more in minimal than there has been in the past.
Yeah. Well, can I just go back? You said workroom. What is a workroom?
Well, in our workroom, we actually manufacture our soft furnishings.
Right.
So we have the staff that are trained with the expertise in the actual craft and artisan work of sewing and manufacturing.
I mean, to have
goods.
that in these times must be such an asset, because we're all going back to we're promoting Australia Made at the moment with everything that's happening globally. So to have that arm to your business must be an incredible bonus.
It is actually, and it's something I think Lynn's had a very strong focus on for many decades, because not only does it allow us to deliver far more bespoke work, we work for trade, for designers, as well as for the retail market as well. And as I said earlier, we're very geared towards innovating design in soft furnishings. And as you'd be aware, a lot of products with fabrics change over time, and different needs, different wishes, different trends, and it's all based on global production, but there's also a lot here in Australia in stock as well.
Well, the interesting thing about people talking about being or going back to local manufacturing is that that's all well and good, but we have to set up those manufacturing plants again. So to have that operating, you're ahead of the game, aren't you?
I agree. I do think so as well, because probably one of the most important elements that allows us to have is control.
Yes.
So it's not just control over the lead time and to meet client deadlines that they may wish to have completion by, but it also allows us to oversee the
Yes.
process, and it allows us to be literally hands-on.
Yes.
In terms of sometimes we're required to do prototypes as
Uh-huh.
well. So it just means the whole process in terms of lead time is quite efficient.
Yeah. So the manufacturing and the design business, is it the one business or are they separate entities? How does that work?
It is the one business. So Design Curtains is the business. We do have what we call our trade division.
Uh-huh.
And this particular division is for trade inquiries only
Right.
and trade services. So generally, we will do work for other interior designers,
Uh-huh.
architects as well. It might be a building designer or a builder.
Okay.
Might employ us on behalf of their client or their architect.
So Design Curtains work is done by the manufacturing, but
Yep.
the manufacturing also works for other trade clients, designers, etc.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
great to
as
know.
you mentioned earlier about that being for us ourselves,
Yeah.
a unique aspect, having the workroom on hand is our own and we are in control of that process.
Yes.
We're able to actually offer that to other business owners
Yes.
that may not be relevant for their business to have an actual production house. They may not have the volume.
Well, I think another thing that we're all starting to understand is collaboration. And when you work together, we don't all have to be the experts, but if we can work together and allow the experts to deliver,
Yeah.
we are that much more powerful as well, aren't we?
Absolutely. And I mean, employing for a designer, an architect, a builder, even a project manager, and sometimes other interior decorators as well, we are very specialised in what is quite a high level of expertise sector, I guess, suppose, of the market.
Yes.
Soft furnishings can assumingly be quite simple and straightforward, but it's not. And it can comprise of, within the entire project, overall cost, the soft furnishings can account for a very high percentage. Sometimes it can be over 60%, 80% of the overall project cost.
Well, particularly if we're talking about a 4-bedroom home that has windows that need to be covered and there's
Exactly.
upholsteries and there's all the accessories, etc.
That's exactly
You
right.
mentioned that the difference between the interior decorator and the interior designer. Now, you are a qualified interior designer, as I understand it.
Yeah.
What do you need to do, or how do you get those qualifications?
Well, I think what's most important is to look at courses that are industry accredited. So there are a lot of private courses. There are also a lot of government courses. TAFE in particular, over at MMore, that's where I studied. So that is an industry accredited course.
Uh-huh.
It's very thorough. It's very practically based in my own experience, which
Yes.
was a while ago.
Yes.
And beyond that, you've got, I know UTS also have their own, but there's other degrees that might be interior architecture. So again, that's a little bit more on the construction side of
Yes.
knowledge that's required and to be accountable for. But there's a lot of other private courses that offer design, decorating, even colour principle courses. But it's just important to look at, firstly, what the content of the course is.
Yes.
What are you going to learn?
Yes.
Because some courses, for example, with construction, might only be 2 hours across a semester,
Yeah.
or a very light delivery, and it's not appropriate for a designer. A designer needs to have sound construction knowledge in the building industry and has to have a good understanding as to how to liaise with trades, understand the language, as you said, collaboratively, need to be able to work well in a team, because at the end of the day, if it's design, even if it's decorating, it's really important to actually collaborate well, have respect for the other, understand the language, understand their accountabilities,
Yes.
but clearly understand your own as well. So if people are endeavouring to study, look well into the course, and it might be worthwhile looking at peak bodies of the industry to ask them what they believe are accredited courses.
Yeah. So I know you've got a tremendous sense of colour, and you love colour, and knowing the works that you have worked on.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that people do wrong with colour?
I think probably the easiest way to define that is to say is the incorrect proportioning of colour. So, as you know, I'm a very strong advocate for the guiding force in nature. Whilst human beings can be of vast intellect, it is my belief that nature is of the highest intellect, and I don't think human beings will ever even collectively
Or we've created
catch
a
up.
nature backdrop for you here today.
Yeah, thank
Do
you.
you like that?
I think I love that you've gone to so much effort just for me.
Well, clearly the studio does believe in the same concept here, and
Exactly.
but it's very fitting, I must say.
Yeah.
So
For colour, really important. One of the things I advise people on is to look into nature, look into understanding their own responses to certain natural settings, spaces, environments, that kind of thing, because one of the most important things, whether it be at work, whether it be in your home, it's really important to feel that you're in a safe sanctuary. And whilst people may not think of it initially, one of the most important questions to ask yourself first is how you want to feel. So in a bedroom, you might want to feel tranquil, calm, relaxed. But then, for example, in a living area, you may have a very, very robust, active family, then you want to feel a little more invigorated and a little more enlivened. So sometimes I give the analogy to associate it with when you're choosing a holiday. Because generally, you have a sense of what you'd like to experience.
Yes.
It might be the island holiday, the summer, you want to feel the heat. So you start defining elements already.
Yes.
Heat, temperature, I want to feel relaxed. I want to look at these kind of colours.
Yes.
So sometimes, whether you have the good fortune of being able to go out to the natural environment and decide that for yourself,
Yes.
fantastic. Or
And
if you
relate to it.
search, or you search online, to find certain environments of meaning.
Yes.
And then you can identify emotions you want to feel. And then when you're coming back to your question about colour, when you look at these natural settings, there's a reason why it's pleasing. And an environment you might walk into, a built environment, be it a restaurant. You go to a fast food restaurant, you want to get in and get out very quickly. But that space is designed to make you feel that uncomfortable.
Hence the colour that's used there?
Hence the colour that's used. So some restaurants will use colours that invoke hunger.
Yes.
But they will make it very uncomfortable for you not to want to hang around because their obvious finance is returned on, mass.
Yes, yes.
Whereas, for example, a very fine dining restaurant that has a beautiful view, then the comforts of that particular space will endure you to stay.
Interesting. The last couple of weeks since we've been allowed out and to experience socialisation again, I've been to a few restaurants or to a few places that I don't know why I'm noticing it now, but the noise, the sound control is horrific. You cannot hear one another speak. And I've actually gone to the point of saying to somebody, you need to insulate this place. Tell me what's your opinion on that, sound insulation?
Couldn't agree more.
Is it easy to get?
It is, and it's easy to create. So whether it be through colour or whether it be through other elements in the space, fabric selection, there's a lot of new products out now for acoustic purposes, which are composite products, so they're quite sustainable, therefore eco-friendly. But as far as, the volume of people, that's intent and the purpose and the duration, you can literally insulate, walls, ceilings and floors. But it does bring me to the fact of fabric and how important that is in a home because it's not just insulation on sound, it's also energy efficiency as well.
Now, I'm a collaborator, as you know, and I believe in hiring professionals for all sorts of reasons. Why should we engage an interior designer, in your opinion?
I think the most important reason is you get it right the first time. So it is an investment, and you want to have someone who is not only broadly educated in terms of training and capability, but somebody who continues their education and learning. For myself, I'm inspired by what I don't know. So that's what pushes me. But that gives your client different perspectives. And at the end of the day, what we do at Design Curtains is we take psychology into a consideration as well, to make it a space livable for all those that occupy.
So it's a professional experience. So how do people find Design Curtains?
Well, with Design Curtains, the best way is to go to our website, so www.designcurtains.com.au. There's details there for contact, whether you wish to make a phone call or wish to make an email inquiry initially.
And that's also for the trade inquiries as well?
Absolutely. Specific for trade, I would say to contact Lynn York direct. So they can, again, contact her through the website or send an email to info@designcurtains.com.au.
Thank you. Would you please thank Cassandra Martin from Design Curtains for joining Health Life Design today?
Thank you.
Thank you.